The calcium lab also requires the use of a calibrated pH meter to check the pH of your solutions. To calibrate the pH meter requires the use of commercial buffers that are of known and exact pH. This pink solution is a pH 4 buffer, the yellow is a pH 7, and the blue is a pH 10. In order for the pH to be accurate, the calibration accurate, you should calibrate against all three buffers. To calibrate this pH meter, begin by erasing any previous calibration settings that were in here. You press setup, enter. And after pressing that, you should notice in the middle of the display here that it should be blank. Okay, you want to start by calibrating using the pH 4 buffer. Place the electrode, okay, and whenever you're doing pH meter readings, you want to make sure that the electrode, the glass part, the membranes, are completely submerged in your solution. And you want to make sure that you're getting good contact of that solution with the electrode. Okay, and that's done by swirling the mixture. Okay, swirl the mixture, not stir with the electrode. Okay, so I want to start by telling the meter I want to standardize on this buffer. So you'll press standard, mix the solution, and you'll notice it'll say stable in the display here. When it says stable, you'll press standard again. At that point, that has saved the 4 buffer reading. Okay, at this point you want to rinse off the electrode using deionized water. Anytime you're transferring one solution to the next on a pH electrode, rinse it off and gently blot it dry with a chem wipe. Okay, next I'll take the pH 7 buffer, repeat the same process. Begin by mixing, tell the pH meter I want to standardize on this buffer. Once the meter says that it's stable, which is indicated right here, stable, press standard again to save it. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the third solution, the pH 10. Rinse the electrode off, gently blot it dry. Now with the 10 calibration buffer, okay, get good mixing. Tell it I want to standardize on that buffer. And when it says stable, press standard. Okay, and at this point you want to ensure that you have an acceptable calibration. It will tell you good electrode down here or bad electrode. If you get a bad electrode message, see your instructor on how to proceed from there. And whenever you're finished using the pH meter, in order for this electrode to properly function, it always needs to stay wet. So these electrodes should be stored in some sort of storage solution, usually deionized water or pH 7 buffer. Okay, and be sure to cap that so that it will always stay wet. The meter can also be put in standby mode whenever it's not being used. And every time you go to use the pH meter, it should have been calibrated at least once per day and using fresh buffers.